Ladies and gentlemen, before the sun rises and before the world begins to pull at your attention, there is a moment, a quiet space between sleep and action. This is where the battle is won or lost. Most people open their eyes and carry yesterday's doubts into today. But the wise, they choose differently. You see, the words you speak to others matter, but the words you whisper to yourself, they shape your reality. Every morning, your mind is like still water, and what you drop into it ripples throughout your day. In the Shi Heng tradition, we are taught, what you feed your mind will either strengthen your path or sabotage your peace. And so, each day must begin not with noise, but with intention, with words that create alignment between your mind, body, and purpose. This is not just about motivation, this is about mastery, because the greatest discipline starts in the silence of the morning, and the first things you say to yourself are not small, they are seeds. They are roots, they are power. So today, I will share with you 4 powerful things to tell yourself every morning, not as empty affirmations, but as conscious choices. When you speak them, don't rush. Let them echo, let them settle, and watch how your inner world begins to shift. Because change doesn't begin out there. It starts right here in the way you rise, in the way you breathe, and in the way you speak to yourself before the world ever gets the chance. Before the world demands your energy, before the distractions start pulling you in different directions, there is one sacred truth you must anchor yourself in. I am in control of my thoughts, not the prisoner of my past. That single realization can shift the entire trajectory of your life. You may not have chosen everything that's happened to you, but you absolutely choose what you think about it now. Most people wake up and instantly relive their old wounds, old patterns, old labels. They carry yesterday's weight like it's required baggage. But what if you didn't? What if you stopped repeating the same mental loop that told you you're not enough, not ready, not worthy? What if you simply took back control? Thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you water grows. If your mornings begin with fear, hesitation, or guilt, then that's the lens through which you'll see the day. But when you remind yourself that you are not your mistakes, not your failures, not the person you were 5 years ago, you reclaim your power. The power to see the present moment not as a punishment, but as a platform. Most people never get there. They stay stuck in a self-made prison, unaware that the key was always in their hands, their thoughts. You see, the past has value. It holds lessons, it shaped your journey, it carved your resilience, but it's not your identity. Just because a version of you once felt broken, betrayed, ashamed, doesn't mean that's who you are today. That's who you were surviving as. Now you're building, now you're conscious, now you get to decide. When you say to yourself, I am in control of my thoughts, you're not just speaking words, you are declaring that you are the observer, not the reactor. You are the one guiding the ship, not being dragged by the tide. We live in a world that constantly reminds us of our shortcomings. Social media shoves perfection in our faces. The news sells us fear. Our own minds whisper doubt if left unchecked. That's why it's not just a nice idea, it's a necessity to speak power into yourself each morning. You have to reset your frequency before the noise begins. Because if you don't tell your mind who's in charge, it will default to the past, and the past rarely has anything new to say. It's just a loop, playing the same song, until you change the track. You may have heard, energy flows where attention goes. But what does that mean practically? It means if you give your attention to pain, it grows. If you focus on everything that went wrong, you miss what could go right. So when you say, I am in control of my thoughts, you are choosing what gets your energy today. You're choosing which direction you move in, because every thought is either a brick in the foundation of your future or a weight from your past dragging you down. There are moments in life that break us, moments that leave scars. But scars aren't signs of weakness. They are proof that healing happened. They are part of your story, not the whole book. When you carry the belief that the past defines you, you miss the chance to grow beyond it. But when you start each morning reminding yourself, asterisk, I am not the prisoner of my past, asterisk, you allow room for evolution. You give yourself permission to be more, to think new thoughts, to step into a version of yourself untouched by shame or regret. The truth is, no one else can think for you. No one else can see inside your mind and rearrange the way you perceive the world. That's your responsibility and also your power. The battle is internal. It always has been. You can't control what others say, what others do, or what circumstances come, but you can control your response, and that response begins with a single thought. That thought becomes a belief. That belief becomes a behavior, and that behavior becomes your life. So where does it all start? With what you say to yourself in the first moments of the morning. When you rise and remind yourself, asterisk, I am in control of my thoughts, asterisk, you interrupt the autopilot. You stop the default narrative. You open a doorway to clarity, because clarity doesn't come from the outside. It's born in stillness. It's born in choice, and you must choose it again and again, especially when your mind wants to go back. The past will try to whisper, remember when you failed, remember when they hurt you, remember how scared you were, and you'll have to respond, yes, I remember, but I'm not there anymore, I'm not who I was, I'm who I'm becoming. That's the real shift. Not denying the past, but no longer living from it, letting it inform you, not imprison you, letting it guide your wisdom, not your wounds. There's a calm confidence that begins to build when you know your thoughts are yours. That you don't have to accept every story your mind creates. That you can pause, breathe, reroute and redirect. That's real power, not external, not noisy, not performative. Quiet power, inner authority. The kind that doesn't beg for attention but moves with intention. So every morning, speak it aloud if you have to. Say it into the mirror. Whisper it while the world is still asleep. Lock eyes with your reflection and remind yourself who holds the reins. You do, you always did, and when you think from that truth the day bends in your favor, not because it's easier but because you're stronger. There's a weight that comes with constantly trying to be perfect, the kind of weight that makes you second guess your every move, overthink your every decision, and tie your worth to impossible standards. But imagine starting your morning by telling yourself something radically different. Asterisk, today, I choose progress over perfection. Asterisk, that single choice is a release. It's a breath of freedom in a world obsessed with flawlessness. It's a shift away from pressure and toward purpose. Because perfection is a trap, it hides behind fear. It delays action, and it demands you become someone who doesn't exist. Progress, on the other hand, is real. It's alive, it moves, it may be messy, but it's momentum. Most people never start because they're waiting to be ready. They wait to feel confident. They wait until the timing feels perfect. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't start things, it stops them. Progress is what builds anything meaningful. Every master you admire, every leader you follow, every story of greatness you hear, they didn't get there by being perfect. They got there by starting before they were ready, by showing up when it was uncomfortable, by learning as they went. They chose movement over stillness, they chose growth over guilt, and they chose progress every single time. When you tell yourself, asterisk, today, I choose progress over perfection, asterisk, you're giving yourself permission to be human. You're acknowledging that mistakes are not only acceptable, they're necessary. Growth lives in the uncomfortable space between who you were and who you're becoming, and it's in that space that you build strength. Every time you push past the need to get it right, and instead focus on simply getting it done, you take one more step toward mastery. The habit of chasing perfection creates paralysis, but the habit of embracing progress builds resilience. Think about how many dreams are buried beneath the weight of perfectionism, how many books unwritten, ideas unspoken, opportunities ignored, all because someone didn't feel ready enough. But what if readiness isn't a feeling you wait for, but a decision you make? What if you stopped waiting for perfect conditions and just started where you are, with what you have? That's progress, and progress has power. It creates clarity. It teaches you what works and what doesn't. It shows you your capacity, your flaws, your strengths, not in theory but in motion. The pressure to be perfect comes from comparison. You look at someone else's success and assume they never struggled. You scroll through highlights and forget about the process. But what you don't see are the hours they failed, the drafts they trashed, the tears they cried when no one was watching. Behind every polished result is a mountain of progress, raw, real, imperfect progress. And when you remind yourself of that truth each morning, you realign with what matters. It's not about proving anything. It's about becoming something. There's a kind of peace that arrives when you choose progress. It's not passive, it's active, but without the panic. You can move forward without needing everything to go exactly as planned. You can take action knowing it won't be flawless, but it will be real. That's the mindset that sustains long-term change. Because when your goal is perfection, you will burn out. You'll grow resentful. You'll chase something that keeps moving further away. But when your goal is progress, you become addicted to showing up. You start to love the process, even the hard days, because you know you're still moving forward. Saying asterisk, today I choose progress over perfection. Asterisk is also an act of self-compassion. You're telling yourself that who you are right now is enough to begin. That you don't need to wait until everything looks perfect from the outside. That doing your best, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, is still worth celebrating. That kind of mindset builds self-respect. It builds consistency, and it keeps you grounded when the world tries to shake your confidence. Progress is quiet. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's invisible, like saying no when you used to say yes out of guilt. Like getting back up one more time after failure. Like choosing not to quit even when the old version of you would have given up. That's progress. It's not always dramatic, but it is always powerful, and it's in those small, daily wins that transformation happens. You don't need to be perfect to inspire people. You just need to be real. You don't need to have all the answers to make an impact. You just need to start asking better questions. You don't need a flawless path. You just need forward motion. So each morning when you rise, make the conscious decision to let go of perfection. Let go of the fear of being judged, the fear of not measuring up, the fear of not getting it all right. Replace it with something stronger, a commitment to growth. It's in the showing up, in the doing, in the trying again. That's where character is built. That's where skill is sharpened. That's where confidence is earned. Not from getting everything right, but from refusing to give up just because it wasn't perfect. You don't have to take huge leaps. You just have to keep taking steps. Progress doesn't demand that you be extraordinary. It only asks that you keep going, that you believe your efforts matter, that you trust that each step, no matter how small, is taking you somewhere greater than where you were. Before the noise of the world reaches you, before the responsibilities start piling up, and before doubt has the chance to speak, say this to yourself, asterisk, I have everything I need within me to face this day with strength. Asterisk, it sounds simple, but don't underestimate its depth. Most people step into the day already feeling behind, already questioning their ability to handle what's coming. They look for strength in the outside world, in praise, in validation, in circumstances aligning just right. But what if true strength has nothing to do with what's around you, and everything to do with what's already inside? You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to feel ready. Readiness is not something you find, it's something you realize. You were born with resilience. You were born with the capacity to adapt, to rise, to endure. Life may have shaken you, but it never emptied you. You are still here, you're still breathing. That alone is proof of something powerful. Too often, We search outside ourselves for courage, thinking we'll be confident when things are easier, when people support us more, when fear disappears. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is walking forward with it in your shadow, and strength is trusting that no matter what you face, you will not face it empty-handed. It's easy to forget how much you've already survived. The hard conversations you've had, the setbacks you've recovered from, the days you showed up when you didn't feel like it, those were not accidents. They were evidence that you've built a foundation within yourself that most people never even recognize. And that foundation is still there, waiting to be acknowledged every morning, saying asterisk, I have everything I need within me. Asterisk is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's about recognizing that your strength doesn't live in future achievements, it lives in your present awareness. You don't need to have all the answers to stand tall. You don't need to have the full plan mapped out to move forward. All you need is the willingness to trust yourself, to trust your instincts, your heart, your ability to figure things out. And you've done that before. You've solved problems you didn't think you could. You've made decisions when the path was unclear. You've adapted to change when it came out of nowhere. So why question your strength now? Why assume this day is any different? Start each morning reminding yourself that you are not stepping into a battlefield unarmed. You are bringing experience. You are bringing perspective. You are bringing wisdom carved out by struggle. The world may test you with challenges, with criticism, with the unknown, but nothing outside can defeat what's unshakable inside. Your thoughts may waver, your emotions may rise and fall, but underneath all of that is something solid. A core of truth, a quiet power, a knowing that no matter what happens, you won't back down. Think of strength not as volume, but as presence. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's the steady breath in chaos. Sometimes it's the stillness when everyone else is reacting. Sometimes it's the decision to keep going, not because you're fearless, but because your purpose is louder than your doubt. That's real strength, and it's not something you need to find. It's something you need to uncover. It's already there. When you repeat to yourself that everything you need is already within you, you take ownership of your journey. You stop giving your power away to other people's opinions, to uncertain outcomes, to the constant chase for more. You bring your focus inward to the calm beneath the surface, to the strength you carry even when it's quiet. This doesn't mean you'll never stumble. It doesn't mean you won't feel overwhelmed. It means when you do, you'll remember that it doesn't define you. Your strength is not measured by how loud you are or how perfect your performance is. It's measured by your ability to realign when things get tough, to breathe deeply when things feel heavy, to ground yourself when fear tries to take over. And all of that lives within you. It always has. You just have to reconnect with it every morning, every moment, especially when things feel uncertain. When you affirm your inner strength at the start of the day, you change the tone of how you show up. You stop begging the world to go easy on you and start declaring that you are equipped for whatever it brings. You stop approaching life as a victim of circumstance and start stepping forward as a creator of outcomes. And that shift from seeking strength to embodying it transforms everything. It transforms how you speak, how you lead, how you handle pressure, how you recover from setbacks, and how you hold yourself when no one else is watching. You've been through storms that others don't even know about. You've kept going on days when you could have collapsed. That's not weakness, that's strength in its rawest form, and it's still inside you. The world might distract you. It might make you feel like you're not doing enough, not being enough. But the truth remains, everything you need to meet this day with strength you already have. You just have to remember. You just have to reach in, not out, because your real power was never something to be gained. It was something to be recognized. Before your feet even touch the ground in the morning, there's a truth waiting to be spoken, a message your soul already knows, but your mind sometimes forgets. Asterisk, I walk with purpose and I act with intention. Asterisk, those words are not a slogan. They are a compass. In a world full of noise, distractions, and empty motion, those words can separate you from the chaos. Most people move through the day reacting, not creating, not choosing. They wake up and follow the script that was handed to them. But you are not here to move blindly. You are here to live deliberately. Purpose is not something reserved for a select few. It's not something you have to earn or wait for. Purpose is not a single grand mission, it's the reason behind your every step. It's the clarity behind your actions, the fire behind your discipline, and the silence behind your stillness. When you tell yourself, asterisk, I walk with purpose, asterisk, you are not just committing to motion, you are committing to meaning. You are saying that every decision today is a reflection of who you are becoming, not just what's convenient in the moment. And when you say, asterisk, I act with intention, asterisk, you are stepping out of autopilot and into authority. You are no longer pulled by urgency, but guided by clarity. Intention is the energy you bring into everything, from the way you speak, to the way you treat people, to the way you handle your own thoughts. Without it, actions are hollow, but with it, even the smallest task becomes powerful. That's what separates those who build something real from those who simply exist. There's a dangerous comfort in drifting, in letting the day dictate you instead of you dictating the day, in going through the motions because it's easier than stopping to ask asterisk why. Asterisk, but that comfort comes at a cost, and that cost is fulfillment. You can't feel truly alive when your actions are empty. You can't feel aligned when your choices are unconscious. That's why purpose matters. That's why intention matters. Because without them, you lose yourself. Not all at once, but slowly buried beneath busyness, obligations, and the expectations of others. When you declare that you walk with purpose, you begin to see your time differently. You protect it. You don't waste it chasing validation. You don't spend it replaying old failures or comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You focus, you align, you build. That kind of mindset changes how you enter a room. It changes how you speak about your goals. It changes how you handle adversity, because people with purpose are not easily shaken. Their feet are grounded, their vision is anchored, their actions are not desperate, they're deliberate. Acting with intention doesn't mean you have to move fast. It means you move with clarity. It's not about rushing. It's about choosing. Choosing to be present instead of distracted. Choosing to speak truth instead of pleasing everyone. Choosing to build something meaningful instead of just performing for approval. That's not always easy, but it's always worth it, because intention is what brings power to your presence. People can feel it when someone is aligned, when someone is real, when someone is doing what they're meant to do, even in the quiet moments. Most people are waiting for permission to live like that. Waiting until they feel ready, until things slow down, until life gives them a clear sign. But the sign is this moment. The readiness is already in you. The permission is yours to give. All it takes is a decision to start your day, not with reaction, but with reason. Not with scattered energy, but with direction. You don't need to know every step ahead. You just need to make sure your next step is intentional. That's how purpose is built, one choice at a time. So much of your power is found in the space between stimulus and response. That space, that pause, is where you decide, will you react out of habit or act out of alignment? Will you let the outside world control your rhythm, or will you stay centered in your own? Every time you choose the latter, you get stronger. You build trust in yourself. You become the kind of person who doesn't just dream about a meaningful life, you live it, one deliberate action at a time. Your purpose doesn't have to be loud to be real. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be powerful. Sometimes it's simply deciding to show up fully, to lead with integrity, to give your best without needing applause. Intention doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. It requires you to be here, not stuck in the past or anxious about the future. When you live like that, everything changes not because the world around you suddenly cooperates, but because you cooperate with who you were always meant to be. You begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're finally aligned with your own truth. That's what walking with purpose looks like. That's what acting with intention feels like. And that's what you're capable of choosing every single morning before the world tells you who to be. So wherever you go from here, carry this with you not as a one-time motivation, but as a daily reminder. You are not here to drift, to doubt, or to diminish your worth. You are here to move with meaning, speak with depth, act with courage. Not every day will be perfect, but every day can hold purpose. It's not about doing everything right, it's about doing what aligns with who you are becoming. Keep choosing clarity over chaos, presence over distraction, and growth over comfort. The power to shape this day and every day after has always been within you. Walk forward knowing that, move forward living that.